I've been a nurse for over 60 years. I got tired and burnt out. Y'all have heard this story all too well. I was born and raised in Ghana, so it was never an option to slack off. Education is really your only ticket out. I actually became an entrepreneur on accident. I went on Instagram on my story and I was just sharing with people my journey.
Welcome to the Nurse Ship. It's your girl, Dr. Kiyonna Jones.
It's Christal P, the beauty NP.
And today Crystal, we haven't been virtual in a minute, for real. So I'm excited because we have Nurse Lois on, but not only because we have her on, but also because we are finally having another virtual session. I call myself going around the country trying to do our Nurse Ship, which was a heck of an experience. So I'm happy to be here, not trying to be on planes and trying to do the most of my own. You know what? I needed to not do that. I won't do that again. But we have Nurse Lois today. Nurse Lois, please give our listeners a little background about you as a nurse and just tell us where you are right now in your journey of entrepreneurship.
Awesome. First of all, thank you so much for having me on the #1 podcast. I watch the show. I hear all about it. So I'm honored to be a guest here. To everyone who's listening, my name is Nurse Lois. I've been a nurse for over 60 years. My specialty is the neuro ICU. So that's kind of what I did. And I did some travel nursing. I've done 13 travel assignments, strike assignments, PRN assignments. And then I got tired and burnt out. Y'all have heard this story all too well. So in 2022, so about 2.5 years ago, I decided to actually take a shift into the boss world and pursue my entrepreneurship dreams, which was starting my own online community called Highest Paid Nurse. And then on the side, because entrepreneurship be unstable, on the side, I did obtain my life insurance license. So I work remotely through that as well. So I'm very excited.
Let's say this. I really, really was humbled. I attended Nurse Lois's Nurses Week event. You invited me and I was like, I don't know the day. It was going to be on Saturday. I think my daughter was graduating, college. And I'm like, we can have it on this day. I can come. And I so appreciated you. You literally said, okay, we're going to do it on that day. And you did it on Tuesday for me to come and be able. But you don't know how much you blessed me because I go through these phases of should I be doing this? I don't know if I'm having enough impact. I don't know if I'm. And so to go there and just all the love I received and, the nurses who were just either they were already following me or they were who are you? I need to get to know you. It was just really a great experience that you did. And it was free and it was open bar. I did get a little tipsy, but that's another conversation. Because you don't take me to an open bar, girl. I can't. I gotta.
Yeah.
My money's worth.
And your money's worth. You gotta get your money's worth because it's not cheap.
But I was talking to you, and then we had a pre-meeting before the event, and you said you were 25 or 26. How old are you?
Right now, I just turned 27. But
you were 26. My daughter is 27,
and that was crazy. That's insane. I can't even.
And all I can do is she is. I love that. I mean, I think as a 40, I'll be 46 soon, so I'm 45 right now. But as a 45-year-old, I'm I love when we have young, ambitious women of color, and we are nurses, just really saying, forget what they have taught me. And I am going to step out here on faith and be the best version of me. And I honestly, you made me check myself okay, Kiyonna, get your old butt out here and do stop down yourself. She is young and she is crushing it. And you started in 2022, which is just yesterday, in my opinion. And so I would love to ask you, with your age, and I don't want to make that the topic because you stand alone in your own right, regardless of your age. But I'm just saying, when I was 26, I was trying to just go to the club. I mean, to be honest. So how did you decide, like, or was there anything that was instrumental in you at this young age in making that decision?
That's a great question. Before I answer that, I want to say thank you so much. You have no idea how much you blessed me and the nurses that attended at the event. You are a phenomenal speaker. Like, that was my first time hearing you in person. And I was just like, any event I do, I gotta have her. So thank you so much for coming. To answer your question, being young, so I was born and raised in Ghana. So I moved to America when I was 9 years old in 2006. And my parents are as African as they come. People don't even believe it when they meet me. My dad is like a typical African dad. So it was never an option to like slack off, just being raised in a third world country. It's like education is really your only ticket out. So it's always been kind of a gift and a curse because sometimes I'll be feeling like I'm not having fun for my age. Like, I really don't be outside like that. I'm really like on my business tip. But I've always been super, super driven. Growing up, we didn't have much. Even when we first came to the US, we had to apply for our citizenship because we came on a 5-year green card. So it's always been like I didn't have a choice. Like, I have to strive. But I think now what I'm actually trying to work on is like enjoying a little bit. Like, I go on trips, but I don't be in the club. I don't really be outside. And I actually kind of want to like have that phase.
Definitely are mature beyond your age. Like, nobody would guess. Like, you look young, don't get me wrong, but like Black people look young anyway, so it don't really, but your level of maturity, it gleams. I promise I thought you were in your 30s.
Everyone says that.
But I thought you were in your 30s. I thought you had lived a little, and I'm like, oh my God, this girl's younger than my daughter.
Oh, baby.
I love it though. That gives you time to grow.
Yes.
And I will tell you, them streets don't be there. Like, if you can take this opportunity and lock in like you are doing, by the time you are 30, you will have so many systems in place. That's when you'll have all the free time to relax and chill, do whatever it is you want to do. So I'm all for the grind at this young age. Yeah. I know what I know now. I definitely would have done it differently. So I definitely, you get kudos for me for doing that.
Thank you.
The thing is saying it's so accessible now. I feel like we didn't even know this option was available. So all we had was the club.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we could have been building our business, like that would have been a good distraction, but we didn't even know those things were possible. So
yeah. And also times have changed too. Like, I don't know if it's social media, the Gen Z wave, like there's so many options that I don't know if 20 years ago, if it would have gave that. So, timing is a big thing too.
I was going to ask you, did you, you first went out and started a community, and I feel like that's kind of bold because, especially during COVID, we were always hearing like, just get on, and even now we teach it, just get online and start teaching. And you're like, who am I teaching to? It's cricket. So the fact that you actually sought out to create a community, was there a need that you had that you were looking to build, or why did the community piece come?
That's a great question. I always tell people I actually became an entrepreneur on accident. I never tried, like how it's a trend right now. Like, I was a happy nurse for the most part until the burnout started kicking in. So I never really thought I would be here. I am, my zodiac sign, I'm a Cancer. Like, at my true core, I don't like all the things. So I actually never thought I would be here. What ended up happening with this community was in April of 2022, I did an assignment that paid $30,000 in 10 days. And this is when the travel rates were going down. Granted, it was a crisis strike assignment, but at that time, the rates were going down. So when after the strike assignment ended, I went on Instagram on my story and I was just sharing with people my journey. Now, I didn't know strike nursing was taboo when I came on Instagram. I was just, trying to put people on. I was just like, hey guys, did you guys know you guys can do these assignments? And so it just kind of like turned into a whole thing. Like, people, I posted my pay stubs to show the receipts. So people were sending it to their friends. My DMs were flooded. So I was like, let me go on IG Live just to talk to the people about, where they can find these assignments. And then I don't know if people were sending my stuff, with strikes, people were sending it to their friends. So I got on IG Live, and it's really hard to get people to show up on your IG Live. We had over 100 people. I didn't even have like 6K followers. Like I was regular schmegular. And then everyone started asking me for agencies, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, let's take this off of Instagram. And it was just a group chat. I didn't even know community was a thing. Like it was literally just like a chat where we can all talk about it. And then it turned into like, okay, can I just pay for access? Or I don't want to, because at that time I was also doing one-on-one coaching calls. So people were like, I don't want the call. Like I just want the tea. Like, can I just pay to be in the group? And that's how it started.
That wasn't even like your intention. You just
Nothing. Like it's really no intention.
Yeah, that's how it goes though. It's like when you have that post that's been sitting in your draft and you're like, should I post it? Should I not? You post it and the shit goes like
crazy.
And then the one you gave it all the time, all the effort, all the energy, it flops.
That's so true. And to anybody listening to this, like we overthink content. I always tell people I probably wouldn't be an entrepreneur if I wasn't on Instagram. Like the people made me an entrepreneur. I was just sharing my journey and I got to find out that people like want to know about these jobs. And also when I was creating my community called Highest Paid Nurse, first I did have some haters because it's a lot like the Facebook group. So we post jobs like travel jobs, PRN jobs, strike jobs. So people would be like, oh, I could just find this on free on Facebook, which I understand. But some of those Facebook groups, people are advertising in there. People talking about their CPR certificate. Like, where are the jobs? Where is the actual tea? So I just found like, okay, this is missing here. If I can create it and make it better, and ended up working out.
Yeah. And that goes for any business. So I hope those who are listening to this understand she has found a need and she has provided a solution for the need. And she has capitalized on that, which is exactly what your unique selling proposition is. So I always talk about on this page, on this podcast, USP. You need to know what makes you different. So she's already like, hey, in the Facebook groups, yeah, they have them. And yes, they're free, but you get spammed. You get a lot of trolling, this, and that. This is a friendly environment. Like people aren't on there like, oh my God, you're a scam, right? It's more friendly. You have someone who's been there, done that, who is going to help you. And then I'm sure you bring in other industry experts that's relevant. I know because I'm in your community too. So when they ask for like, hey, can you get Psychopreneur Nurse here to talk about med spas? You have a connection, reach out like, hey, can I get you in? So you deliver too. So I think people are missing that. But what I want to ask you, and this is something that I want every listener to understand now, if you've already started your business, don't try to change it and do a membership. I'm not saying that. But for those of you who are trying to figure it out, you'd be surprised. You have that thing that people ask you all the time that you are missing an opportunity to potentially have a membership because you're not hearing it. You're just like, in your mind, what you think, and I'm sure you felt this way, Nurse Lois, like, everybody knows this. Like, this ain't nothing. Like, if I know it, they know it. But the truth of the matter is everybody does. And there are a lot of people who are like, for me, I have to check myself on that too. Because I'd be like, okay, and then somebody's like, oh, especially with AI, because I've been in it since it launched in November of 2022. So when I post something like, can you? And I'm like, yeah, everything I use AI for, but in my mind, everybody does too, because we all have the same opportunity to do it. So for the listeners who are on here, I challenge you to think about the questions that you get over and over again that you are missing this potential opportunity to create something like a membership. And don't feel like, oh, I don't know enough, because you absolutely do. If people keep coming to you asking, now, most of our listeners are nurses or nurse practitioners, you may need to mess up organizing. It doesn't have to be related to nursing. Like, what is it that you do well that people ask you about, and provide a solution for them? People will pay. And if you could get that membership going, that really is such a people are looking for community right now in this time. So if you're able to do that, it's really good. So my question to you though is, how many people do you have in this community, girl? It's been 2 years since you launched the community?
So I officially launched the community. So I have 2 technically. So the first one I launched in May of 2022. And that one was like strictly for strikes. And then I was like, there's another level, right? Because strikes are not predictable. And I don't want to sell people dreams. It's not predictable. Child, you could be in the airport and they like strike cancel. And it's like, I'm about to board my flight. So I was like, okay, let me expand on it. And then I created so Highest Paid Nurse was born August of 2022. So about two years. And combined, we have over like 750 combined between the two.
And how do you show up in that group? Because like it's only one of you.
It's only one of me. Say that again, because listen, there is burnout in entrepreneurship. I don't know what I thought this was.
Attention, aspiring entrepreneurs in the healthcare industry. Have you ever dreamt of starting your own successful IV hydration business? Well, your dream is about to become a reality. Imagine a business where you can make a difference in people's lives while building a thriving venture. We're excited to invite you to a free webinar that will unlock the secrets to launching a successful IV hydration business. Join us for an exclusive event where industry experts will share invaluable insight on the essential steps to launch your IV hydration business, building a six-figure business from scratch, navigating the challenges in the healthcare entrepreneurship journey. But that's not all. Attendees of the webinar will get a sneak peek into our comprehensive IV Hydration On Demand course. Discover how this course has empowered others just like you to turn their passion into profit. Picture this: lifetime access to in-depth video trainings, business strategies, SOPs, and exclusive bonuses that can catapult your success.
Register now for our free webinar at https://apply.trueusavvy. That's truusavvy.com/training. Don't miss this opportunity to kickstart your journey to a rewarding and lucrative IV hydration business.
And everybody wants your time. So
they don't care. So when I first started it, I was doing everything. Like I was posting all the jobs, and the jobs that we post, they're not just like, oh, Facebook jobs that I reposted. I've done 13 travel assignments, and I was one of the travel nurses that bounced around agencies. Like, you know, I've been at that. Like, I'm not loyal to none of y'all. So I kept good relationships. So I would usually, this is like 2022, 2023, because this year I've delegated. Like I only got to show up to host the classes now. But before, I was like posting all the jobs. So like every Monday I would text all my recruiters. It's an incentive for them too, because it's like if people take the job, that's business for you. So I would literally text all my recruiters, hey, what's the highest jobs you have? Only send me the highest paying jobs. And it was tedious, like every day hunting for jobs. And I think once I slowly started not being in the field like that, because I haven't worked like a full-time job as a nurse in like almost 2 years. So the desire wasn't even there no more. When I started, I was excited. Oh my God, these strikes. Now it's like, I don't even really care about the strikes. So I learned to delegate. So in the beginning, it was a lot of groundwork, doing everything by myself, not looking for help. And then this year, I actually had to get humble. I had to say, there are nurses who are better when it comes to PRN nursing than me. I have a mentee. Her name is Nurse Lois. She's on Instagram at Per Diem Plug. The girl is like killing it with PRN nursing. So it takes humility sometimes as an entrepreneur to say, hey, listen, not only do I need to delegate, but she's better at this than me. Like she's actually in it. Like I'm out the game. I've been able to like bring in some nurse admins who do the job post and keep it active. And then now I just show up once a month to host like the master classes.
Yeah, and I think that's great too, bringing in other industry experts because it doesn't rely on what you know.
Yeah.
And your community can benefit from that because, like you said, we can't be everywhere and know everything. It's actually more beneficial that I bring this person, but you are able to vet them. So that's another plus of you creating this community. You're able to vet these people, know that they know what they're talking about, and you're bringing them quality, you know, people to learn from versus
absolutely
like, just trying to figure it out on Google and social media.
Absolutely. And then something that I realized this year was like, I didn't want to be the face of the community anymore. Like, I want people to find it before they even know it's mine. Like, I wanted to literally, I don't want to be the star in it. So even highlighting nurses that are in the community, like, you know, we have nurses who do like cannabis nursing. I'm like, you want to do a masterclass for us? Obviously making sure they know what they're doing, but really making it like our thing, not a like Lois thing.
Yeah. I love that. And so I'm going to go ahead and ask the question because I know our listeners. What is do you have different tiers or is it like one set tier that everybody pays a set amount per month? How do you structure your payment?
That's a great question. So the community is free for your first 7 days because I feel like when you go to the food court, you can like try out the food before you commit to buying it. So I believe in trials. You know, you have 7 days and we're not going to like sneak you in there. You're going to get an email saying, hey, your 7 days is up. Do you want to leave? Do you want to stay? And then after that, it's only $27 a month and you can cancel at any time. Pricing is very important as an entrepreneur, girl. I've had to change the prices so many times, girl. This community, it used to be $9.97 at a point. I've had it as high as $14.97. But I feel like with this economy, I was like, people not paying no $14.97. Or at least, well, maybe that's a limitability. Maybe they would. But, you know, you just, as an entrepreneur, you also have to know when to like pivot and adjust because it's like, you want to keep this $14.97 or do you want it to grow? So I actually recently changed the price. I mean, this is the lowest it's ever been, $27 a month, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, because honestly, it wasn't converting at $9.97. Like it just wasn't converting.
What? $997 a year? Is that what you were?
It was one time for night, like $1,000 for one time. It converted 2022, 2023, but girl, I don't know, it's not converting. So I was like, okay, let me.
I feel like I play a lot with numbers too, with my mentorship and like how long should it be, how short should it be. I've been doing it for a long time, and I still like I'm just recently just kind of changed my structure again, just trying to make it where I don't want to get the cheap people because they drain me low. I want to make it that you got to put some real skin in the game, but at the same time, I still want to provide this value and be different from a lot of the other companies out there that do the same thing that I do. So it is a sweet spot that you'll find. I'm surprised though, $27 a month is really low, girl. Peace of mind is everything in this thing. People will expect the world from you. And those $97 a month people will respect your boundaries. It's so weird how it's just the more money they pay, the more they pay attention, but also respect of like your time and understanding that, you know, you have to do your thing too, but as long as they're getting the value. So it's a good price though, especially if you're kind of, and what I do is my membership, I have some people that's still in there that started when I was charging $27 back in 2021.
Oh,
They're
wow.
in there. So I grandfather them in, and then I have some at 57. It's $247 now, but some at 57, and they're happy. They're like, I'm never leaving, girl. That's what it is, right? So I think that's really good though that you figure it out, and it sounds like that you're leading with value, right? Did you have any type of help or support or mentorship to help you kind of launch this type of membership? How did you figure it out?
That's a great question. I wish I had mentorship when I started it. Honestly, it was all an accident. I'm talking like I was taking payments on Cash App, Venmo. It was just a chat. Like it wasn't a community, it wasn't a membership. It just started off as like, you know, I would go on IG Live, I would do some coaching calls, and then people would be like, okay, what about the strike next month? What about a PRN assignment? People just kept needing me again. So I'm like, all right, it was just a chat. And then it grew. So I definitely wish I ran into mentorship or even the concept of having a coach when I first started. So I did not have a coach when I started, but it wasn't growing when I was starting to know how to market. You know, as nurses, honestly, like they don't teach us how to market and how to really be an entrepreneur. So I had it, but it wasn't growing until I finally decided in 2023, like March, I hired my first coach. So that's when I really saw it like scale and grow.
And what was your process in finding that coach? Because I think a lot of our listeners wonder about that too, just vetting the right coach and figuring out, you know, not getting scammed again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is such a great point. The beautiful thing that I will say, anybody who's listening to this, like you having Dr. Kiyonna Jones, Miss Christal, all the things that you already have resources through this podcast, it's kind of like a mentorship, but you're going to know at a point that you're going to need like an actual like person, not just like, because I used to say, oh, I'm watching some videos, I bought a course, and that's not the same as having like an actual mentor. So a good way to vet the person who's going to be a good coach for you is just to literally just honestly spend a lot of time binge watching their content. You want to make sure whoever you are hiring as a coach, you like them, you like how they teach, because just because somebody has results, it doesn't mean that you can, I feel like it's the same way as like when you had a preceptor when you're a nurse. Just because somebody's a great nurse, it doesn't mean they can be a preceptor, right? And so you want to make sure that you are vetting them, binge watching their content. I would go on my first coach, his name is Dion Coupland. I probably went on like 5 of his free webinars before I decided to actually make that investment. So just like binge watch their stuff. You can tell a lot about a person by, just like their day-to-day interactions. Definitely you want to make sure you're investing into a coach who has the results for sure, but really knows what they're talking.
Yeah. Shout out to Dion Coopwood. Him and I met in a mastermind that we were in, a year-long mastermind. I love him. He actually came into my community and taught about credit. That was, Christal, when was that? That must have been in 2021, or it's been a minute.
Yeah,
it's been a minute. Yeah, he came in and crushed it. So yes, he is amazing. And I totally agree with you. Christal, when you say the same thing, like you definitely need to vet them. I think you just want to make sure your core values are in alignment too. Got some coaches like, get it. Like, I'm a mom. Why? I have real life. I can't 5 minutes of sleep at night. Like, that's not in alignment with me.
Yeah. Definitely. I agree with binge watching because I find too, and even recently looking for, and I talked about on here, looking for a therapist or looking for a financial coach, and it's definitely, I do find now that I want to binge watch their content to see if I could catch a vibe. Like you said, just like, okay, they understand me. I feel like, they're, similar, a mom or whatever, but just that, I think that's so important just to make sure you guys vibe together too. So that's why content is so important. That no trust and like factor is really shows up now with me looking for coaches, especially like you said, when you're done buying the 27, not the 27, but like the $19 ebook, and those things can only get you so far. But when it's time to really like put your money where your mouth is and invest in yourself, that's when you have to do a little bit more digging and research person. But just, I think that vibe is so important, and making sure that they know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. And I think coaching is so like almost like unheard of in nursing. Like I never honestly, until I got into the entrepreneurship space, because it's so normal there. Like people are dropping like 6 figures for coaching. It's regular. It's almost a flex. Like, oh, I spent $50K. Like it's so normal. But in nursing, I don't know if it's like, it's not taught to us. A lot of nurses are very scared to invest in themselves. And one thing that I will tell anybody watching, like, it don't got to be mine. It don't have to be Dr. Kiyonna. I'm actually not even taking mentees, so this is not a plug. But honestly, coaching is so, so, so important. Like, it really just is, because there is no preceptor for entrepreneurship. So you have to hire a coach. And unfortunately, if it's free, you're not going to execute. Like, it almost has to hurt a little bit. Like, and don't be afraid of the high ticket prices. Like my first coach, I spent $15K, and it had to be wired, paid in full, like no payment plan. It's $15K or it's nothing. And I was terrified, but the results I got, like it hurt to pay it, but then it's like, all right, I had that battery on my back. I had to make it happen, and I definitely made it back. So definitely highly encouraged.
And it's funny you said that. I was going to say, I hope it didn't go over the listeners or the viewers' head when you said it wasn't until I got a coach that it really took off. And see, what people don't know how to calculate, and I don't know how to either, but something that you have to remember is what you don't know costs you way more than what you know. Like you may be thinking, oh, I need to pay somebody to help me build a funnel or a landing page. But the truth of the matter is that's not what you need right now. You need to get a solid offer that's irresistible, that anybody would want to buy from you. But that's before you get to the landing page and the funnel and all the fun stuff, right? But you don't even know that because you don't have the capacity yet to even think on that level. So what people don't realize is when you're paying for a mentor or a coach, you're paying for what you don't know. Like it's not even on your radar because you think this is the next step. And they're like, whoa. Olive, now, what? Your mentor or coach is going to reel you back in and tell you like what you're missing and what you need to work on first before you even get to that thing that you think you need. And so when you hired your mentor or coach, how soon did you make your investment? I know you had a big month in your launch. So I want you to talk about that too.
We've covered some great insights so far, but the best is yet to come. Stay tuned for the second half of the Boss Nurse Shift. It's going to get even more exciting. See you again on Monday.